Hi, my name is Kimberly Toohey. I'm the registered dietitian from the Stratford Family Health Team. I am going to be completing the rest of the presentation, which will focus on food and how that can impact your heart health. So we know that food has many factors that can affect our blood sugars, blood pressure, blood cholesterol and triglyceride levels, as well as our energy levels. And when you know how food can impact those aspects of your health, that gives you a powerful tool that you can use to manage your health. Since we have decided to video record this presentation in segments, I won't be talking about all of these topics in this video. I will be focusing on the types of fats and impact on our heart health. If you have a full 60 to 90 minutes to spend watching all the videos today, that's great. Go ahead and continue to watch on. In the next session, I'll be looking at carbohydrates and how they impact our heart health, fiber and sugar in particular, and sodium, also known as salt, and how that impacts our heart health. And then in the last video, I'll be looking at heart-healthy eating patterns. So these are evidence-based dietary patterns that have been shown to reduce your risk for heart disease. The Mediterranean diet, portfolio diet, and the DASH diet. And I'll also cover meal planning for heart health in that video. If you'd rather just watch one video at a time, they're about 10 minutes, give or take a few minutes each. And that if you want to do that over a few days, that might be a better pace for you. I invite you to do that. And you can also go back and watch any of the videos again to help you remember what you learned and to just reinforce that learning. So now we'll move on to the types of fat and how they impact your heart health. I want to focus first on the types of fat that can help your heart. That's unsaturated fat. Unsaturated fat can help lower your LDL cholesterol, which was the bad cholesterol, and raise your HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol that can protect your heart. It is found in foods like vegetable oils, canola, olive, grapeseed, avocado oil. It's found in nuts and seeds, in all nuts and seeds. So peanuts, walnuts, almonds, cashews, etc. And when it comes to seeds, sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds, all of those are great sources of unsaturated fats. Avocado is a good source of a monounsaturated fat, great for your heart health, as well as fatty fish are sources of polyunsaturated fats. So fatty fish are salmon, mackerel, sardines, and trout. The type of polyunsaturated fat that is found in those fatty fish is called omega-3. And these omega-3 fats have a lot of heart health benefits. In particular, they can help lower your triglyceride levels, and they may raise that HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol. We know that it can slow the growth rate of atherosclerotic plaque in your bloodstream, which reduces your risk for heart disease. It can reduce the stickiness of your blood cells, helping to thin out your blood, reducing the risk of clots. And the best source of foods for those heart health benefits is from fatty fish. And that's because the fatty fish contains the DHA and EPA forms of these omega-3. Those are the ones that are most beneficial for our health. ALA is another type of omega-3 unsaturated fat that can have a positive effect on your heart health, just not as a significant impact as the DHA and EPA, but still good to include in your diet. It is found in your plant-based foods, so it's found in oils like flax, hemp seed, and canola oils. It's also found in nuts and seeds, in particular walnuts, pumpkin, ground or crushed flaxseed, hemp hearts, chia seeds as well are all good sources of these omega-3 fats. Soybean products contain omega-3 fats, which are good. So that's like tofu, soy protein like soy milk, tempeh. And if you are not able to eat food sources of these omega-3, I always encourage you for food first if you can. If for whatever reason that's not an option for you, omega-3 supplements are something you may want to consider. I always suggest consulting with your physician before you start taking a supplement, especially for a therapeutic effect like reducing your triglyceride levels. It may interact with some medications, so always good to check with your doctor. A good quality fish oil supplement is one that will contain 400 milligrams of EPA and 200 milligrams of DHA, so that's 600 milligrams total per 1,000 milligram capsule. So those are some numbers to look out for on the ingredient list of those fish oil supplements. And if you happen to have an allergy to fish or shellfish, make sure you check that label to make sure there's not a source of your allergen in that fish oil supplement. There are algae options available if you're choosing to follow a vegan diet or have one of those fish oil or fish allergies. And choose those plant-based food sources often in your diet because they will help your heart health if you're not able to consume the fatty fish or fish oil supplements. So these are some tips on how you can incorporate unsaturated fats in your diet. So I recommend considering enjoying fatty fish 2 to 3 days a week. That could be as simple as having a salmon sandwich a couple days a week and maybe a salmon fillet or shrimp in your stir fry one night. You can use canola oil, olive oil, grapeseed, or avocado oil for cooking. And if you enjoy salads, maybe consider making your own salad dressing with these oils to get more of those unsaturated fats. You can try sprinkling ground flaxseed onto cereals, in your yogurt, or on salads. Using avocado, you can throw it into smoothies. You can add it as a spread on toast or on sandwiches. Some people like to add it to their salads. And another option would be to try to have a 1/4 cup of nuts or seeds every day. That is a good way to get a boost of unsaturated fats in your diet daily. Now, we do know that some types of fat can have a negative impact on your heart health. And those are saturated fats, which can raise your LDL cholesterol, which was the bad cholesterol that increases the risk of plaque building up in your arteries. So if you're looking to limit saturated fats, it is found in foods like butter, lard and shortening, coconut oils and palm oils, higher fat milk, cheese, and dairy products, as well as in fatty cuts of meat and in your chicken skin. The other type of fat that is best to limit when you're concerned about your heart health is trans fats. It's most often found in convenience foods, as well as fried foods. So processed foods like salty snacks often have trans fats, as well as baked products that you buy at the store, like your baked cookies, pies, muffins, etc. Those are all foods that may have those trans fats in them. So looking at what to choose as an option instead of those saturated fats, if that's something you're looking to adjust in your daily eating habits, try choosing lean cuts of meat or meat alternatives more often. Chicken and turkey breast, turkey, eggs are all leaner cuts of meat. Lower fat dairy options, so a 1 or 2% milk, yogurt, even sour creams, cottage cheeses. You can choose the lower fat options. If you happen to enjoy cream in your coffee, instead of full fat cream, consider a 5% cream, or switching to milk if that's something you would still enjoy. Try to look for cheeses that have less than 20% milk fat. When you're cooking and preparing a meat, if you're having a steak or a pork chop, trim that visible fat, that white coating that's kind of on the outside. When you're cooking it up, drain that extra fat that comes off if you're cooking it. So in ground beef, oftentimes a lot of liquid comes off. It's actually the liquefied saturated fat. You can drain that off and rinse that beef, and then continue on making the rest of your recipe to lower that saturated fat content. And try to choose lower fat cooking methods. Instead of deep frying, maybe consider poaching or frying in a smaller amount of a unsaturated fat using those oils we talked about earlier. Grilling and baking, slow cooking, using nonstick pans and maybe cooking oil spray are all great options to consider to lower that fat in your cooking, especially the saturated fat in your cooking. And choose plant-based proteins. Maybe explore with some different foods and different recipes to replace some of the meat in your diet that can help lower your saturated fat intake. So some options would be tofu, legumes, which are brown beans, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, lentils, nuts, and seeds are all plant-based proteins that you could consider replacing some of the meat in your diet with. So to summarize the video segment, here's some key points to remember. Aim to add unsaturated fats into your meals and snacks. For example, olive oil dressings, nuts, seeds, avocados. Eat fatty fish or seafood 2 to 3 times a week. Choose lean protein and vegetable protein foods more often. And limit saturated fat from processed foods like butter, lard, fatty meat, and high-fat dairy. I will also direct you to a resource that I emailed to you. It's called The Dietary Fat, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Sorry, I'll scroll up here so you can see the top of the handout. It summarizes the types of fats that are in the diet and gives you some tips about how you can work towards incorporating more unsaturated fat and limiting the saturated and trans fats. So that just gives you some additional tips to follow up from watching the video today. And I encourage you to review that at your own time if you're interested. And here we go. At this time, I want to encourage you or invite you to consider reflecting on what your habits are and what we just learned, what we talked about, and think if there's anything in your current eating patterns that you'd maybe like to change or to add something different to. Maybe it's about adding more unsaturated fats to help protect your heart health. If there is a habit you want to work towards incorporating, I invite you to set a SMART goal around that. So by SMART goal, I mean a goal that is specific, measurable, attainable, action-oriented. It's realistic for you, and it has a time frame to it for you to check in and see if you achieved that. So for example, if you wanted to set a goal around adding unsaturated fats, maybe working towards eating a handful of nuts every day, an example of a SMART goal would be, I will start eating a handful of nuts every day as part of my afternoon snack. I'll start after I go for my next grocery shop so I can buy some nuts to add to my afternoon snack. And I will check back in 2 weeks to see if I've achieved that goal. And then follow up 2 weeks later, maybe put an appointment in your phone to remind you and assess how that went. If it went not so great, try to think of what was hard, what was easy about doing that goal. Maybe you want to change the goal or work on something else. That's all great. You might want to consider asking a friend or supportive family member to help you with this accountability. So in terms of checking in and helping you brainstorm how that could work better for you in the future, or if that went really well for you, awesome, way to go. Maybe consider something else you want to add. I encourage you to remember how small steps over time can create big change in the long term and can help build new healthy habits that will protect your heart that you can sustain. So thank you for listening today. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us. We're available at this point by phone and email. So you can call the Stratford Family Health Team at 519-273-7017, and you can ask to book a phone appointment with myself. You can also email Jenny or myself at The email address is listed there. So we'd be happy to answer your questions by email as well.